Hello. Yes. Hello, I fucked that up. Hello, local population. You know how I did the thing where I talked about the killers, as in I talked to myself for minutes at a time, roughly like half an hour to an hour. Well, now I'm doing that again, but for the survivors or the whatever. Do they even count as survivors if in law they're technically robots created by Fazbear Inc. or whatever the hell? Regardless, I'm doing it. There is no doodles of maps this time. I just have them drawn up on a table with a bunch of empty space on the right. But no, who knows? Maybe I'll start doodling something while we go over it. But first things first, we need to discuss. And who better to start with than the one everybody gets upon joining Bye Bye Night for the first time, which still isn't over in terms of maintenance, by the way. It's nearing like a month. I don't want that in black. I want it in red. It's been like a month now, and I'm still patient. I'm still capable. I don't mind waiting. Some people don't. That's okay. Who am I to blame them? The maintenance is actually driving everybody crazy. Like that one image isn't even a lie. People are going insane, making stuff up or just taking everything too literally. Like, be real, fellas. These people aren't Scott Cawthon. Just because it's FNAF doesn't mean everybody's gonna Scott Cawthon it or whatever. But it was such a good method for its time, though. You guys really should have been there. 2014 FNAF. Oh boy. Anyway, starting. Is customer good? Was customer good? Between that, between its release date to the closed maintenance, the customer hasn't really been changed at all, and it is relatively well balanced and designed to keep yourself alive. However, that doesn't mean it's a selfish class. I, me personally, I used it to get the killer off someone's back, be a little distraction. As a customer, you'd probably be doing a lot more if you were working on the gens, but also like being there to block doors if necessary. Of course, I can't show that right now. I would love to show that right now. I mean, if you ever want to see my super based customer gameplay, which is definitely old and outdated at this point, totally should. You absolutely should. Oh boy. So fun, so fun, so undeniably fun. I do think I had the most fun playing customer in a teamwork based environment out of any other class. Because there was also a few techs I got to learn where if you crouched when using your abilities, you moved faster than the base walking speed. I don't want them to change that if I'm being honest. It's pretty damn good. It's so good. It really gives you that little tiny boost of speed. And it's the same thing with a security guard thing, but maybe I should save though. So, do I think customer is a good class? Do I think customer was well balanced on release? Nothing was too overpowered about them, nothing was too outstanding about them. I'd think customer is a okay in my book. One of the best base kit classes you could start with. It gives you everything you need. And if you learn how to use it well, it becomes even better. Of course, most customers tend to just hide and whatnot. But exactly remember this, you are a team. In this game, you are basically a team. Running it alone is never going to work out. And if it does work out, then it's only going to work out for you specifically, because you're a bit of a selfish prick. But I don't know, beats me, man. Customer was so undeniably good though. I can't lie. Leveling that up to max level, it's easy, it's simple, it's casual. and you learn. At least until you buy something else. It does really just give you the fundamentals. You get something for stamina and you get something for health. And then you get to kind of learn how that works. Like how the pizza gives you less health gain the more health you have. That's good. And the drink, it was pretty much just use it at the correct time or you're gonna get hit. So you pretty much just had to save that thing for when it really mattered. You could just use it willy nilly and wait for the cooldown, but I think the cooldown was literally like a minute, maybe 45 seconds, but I think it was a minute. But in the end, great class, great beginner starter, and basically essential if you want someone to be the meat bag. Go in there and take a hit. Aye, Captain. Here I go. Boom, boom. Pizza up. You're good. You could save a lot of lives as a customer. Genuinely. Coming up next is Medic. Now, God. What do I say about Medic? It's honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, Medic is a bit of a mixed bag. Between its release to the maintenance, there were minimal changes. There was like an animation change. There was probably a couple number changes here and there. But one thing that's more notable is that like they have the least amount of health, which is fine. It's fine because you can self heal and you can heal others, and it's two separate things. They're not the same, which I do like. I like that. So you don't have to worry about whether to waste a heal on yourself or give it to someone else because they're separated. I think that should honestly stay. There is nothing wrong with Medic that I can think of, unless you want to get into the deep parts of it and say that you want some stat changes, like if Medic had the most base speed out of all the survivors, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I wouldn't say it's like something that should happen because I don't really know myself. Because as far as I'm concerned, people hate medics. Like, people who love playing killer, they hate medics. These are the people that agony farm on gens and then kill the medics first, which is generally a bad play if you if you really gotta think about it. Because just of the sole fact that they're a medic, which I'm not gonna lie, they kind of just carry the. I hate to say the name, I'm sorry. It kind of brings the Forsaken into it, where it's just like, kill the healer first. Kill the two-time first. Like, ugh. Yeah. I will admit, I did touch that game. Just a little. I'm not gonna say that I like it, or that I hate it. It's alright for what it was, but people are just a bit whiny, and a bit too repetitive. Because I think, yeah, no, I leveled up the healer to the highest level, and it was atrocious because people go for the medics first, which is a bad play because it's so unnecessary. You can counterattack every survivor without resorting to just targeting them first or just full on running them down until they can't run anymore. It's more of a time waster than anything else. And if anything, it's gonna make both you and the person you're killing frustrated. And that shit is annoying. So for that alone, I'm gonna say medic is good as well. I should probably just stick to the green. You know, green and reds. Let me just fix that up. I know this is gonna look really messy, but you're not gonna judge me, are you? You guys aren't gonna judge me. Medic is a-okay in my book because they do it their job well. The only bad thing about medic are the medics who explicitly play medic to heal themselves and hide a customer situation, basically. So this is just the next best thing for a customer that's just like, man, I keep dying as a customer. I wish there was a more effective way to heal myself. And, they realize they can self heal as medic and be like, oh my god, I can hide in corners more frequently now. And it's pretty annoying. Pretty damn annoying. But let's just cut to the chase. Every class has an excuse to hide in corners, and all of them involve self preservation and not teamwork. So that's the last time I'm going to mention that shit from now on, because otherwise I'm going to mention it every single time for every class here. And it might get annoying. Maybe. I can't confirm or deny it. If you find joy out of people complaining, maybe you'll complain more. Maybe. Maybe. I am a great complainer. I'll tell you what. Regardless, when it comes to the first two survivors at the most cheapest, at least I think it's the most cheapest, they're good. Great for beginners. This is basically the beginner section of the entire Survivor Brigade. Now, next up is my personal favorite, the security guard. I put him in the middle because he's a great balance. He's a good in-betweener. Because these two are very beginner friendly. Technician and fighter are very professional heavy, but fighter is a little bit different on why it's last place. You know why. So I'm not gonna say it, we're just gonna save it. But you can find some really, really good security guard players out there in Bite by Night. Oh well, you could. It's in maintenance. La-di-da. But security guard is definitely my favorite class. The taser is pretty much top notch. The changes between on release to maintenance, it's actually pretty severe. There was this one time where you could essentially just stun the killer at any tier of the taser, the stun gun. But what it would do is, let's say a mimic. Ooh, scary. I hate mimic players. A mimic shows up and stealth grabs one of your allies, and you, as a security guard, instantly activate the taser and tase him. The mimic drops the player, but there is no cooldown for them. They can immediately just grab someone again. So it was pretty much just a tight timing thing. But more cases often than not, I think the killer is the one that gets affected the most, and it is understandable why it was immediately changed back so that the taser could only stun on red tier or whatever the hell it was. Some people would say that the tase should be back for all tiers, so you can stun the killer as a security guard because it makes him useful. When in fact he was already useful to begin with, and him having the tase on all tiers was severely overpowered. Security guard is balanced. He's good for when you need someone, like if someone's being targeted, essentially being targeted. Let's just be real. If they want no one but this one person dead, a security guard can immediately halt that by a severe margin. Not even just with a low tase, on any tase from low to high, it's pretty damn big. You just gotta learn how to pre-aim your shots if you know that the killer's coming towards you, or if you're communicating, you tell your teammate to come to you, to your area where you're already pre-charged. So you'll most likely have a red tier charge by the time the killer comes around anyway. And that is essentially what security guard is used for. It's to help people get away, not to attack the killer. That's what fight is for. He attacks the killer. He's the main damage dealer. Security guard is just the let's make sure everybody gets out of here type of guy. Like the just in case guy. Like, oh, killer got stunned. Follow up with a big stun once he's out of it. Or a small one. I don't usually charge them up. I kind of just shoot it immediately because the low tier stun is good on its own. It's good enough. It gives a lot of distance to people who need it. But there is one more thing I think I need to mention. Yes, this is what I've been saving. As security guard, you can hold, like, you activate your taser. You can move while aiming the taser, right? Well, for the entire first tier of your tase, as soon as it hits the first marker, I would give UI elements for you to visualize exactly what I'm saying. Actually, I could. I will do that right now. That's terrible. I am so sorry. That was... Okay, let's say that this is the taser's charge. We got fucking low, like the three markers in between, the red, orange, and green, and whatever. Let's say you aim your taser and the bar starts filling up. You move quite quickly with the taser in your hand, faster than the base walking speed, until you reach the first marker, in which your speed slows down. So, similar to customer, if you're low on stamina, just aim your taser towards the killer and just start backing it up. Because the killer will see you aiming at him, and he's gonna start, doing some LeBron James, Michael Jordan basketball dribbles, and you're just gonna be holding W, holding S. Don't walk towards the killer. You're going backwards away from him until it hits that first tier, and then you cancel it and run because your stamina will be regened by then. Very good for extending chase, and doesn't involve using a door or a singular loop. Impeccable. So, for that alone, considering security guard is the best middle ground for everything ever. Did I forget? What am I doing? Hello. I'm trying to change the color. There we go. Just for that, security guard being the best middle ground ever, he gets a seal of approval as well, just like a medic and customer. All of these classes genuinely feel quite well established. So well established that they even gave the people in the trailer actual names. So they had names, and they were all using one of the four classes on release. Because minus technician, of course. Speaking of, it is quite technician hours right now. So we need to get a lot out the way first. Technician was released alongside the update that introduced anomaly enids, like the spaghetti enid, all those enid skins, I think, unless it was the update after that one. I don't know. We only got like a month or two of gaming with that. I genuinely can't remember what update it was, but when it came out, people didn't like it that much. And to me, the only noticeable problems I had was that sometimes the phasing was not too consistent when you're going through all the walls and all that with the Vandy mask, all the obstacles. But it wasn't bad by any means. I maxed it out. Of course I did. I didn't find this class to be outrageously terrible. It has the aspect of security guard where you gotta have to pre-place your stuff, which in this case for technician, it's a more mandatory. Security guard, you can just instantly shoot your taser, but for technician, you kind of just have to place your slows in good spots and kind of just pray that someone runs the killer there or the killer just walks there naturally. It works as quite a good. It's quite a good slow. It blurs. It's pretty much just annoying. Is all I can describe it. The slowdown's purpose is to solely annoy the killer. He's blind, he's deaf, he's looking at a tiny little box emitting radio signals. He has to hit that thing. However, on the other hand, the Vanny Mask is really good. Again, it's pretty good for when you are low on stam. It this is like the customer drink all over again. The mask, you gotta have to save it. Cause me, I tend to be able to run around for a long while before I find myself in a tricky spot. And there's this one wall on the warehouse. I don't know if you guys know the wall, but it's like this kind of wall right here, and there's like a window right beside it. And then it's like, you know, I'm gonna perfectly match exactly what this area looks like because there would be a door here or something, and there will be a generator here. Not exactly accurate, but this is on the warehouse map. You gotta believe me, guys. Because you could phase through this wall right here, which leads into the back area around here-ish. Because the entrance to the warehouse is back over that way because this door is the kitchen, and then you go out that way, which leads you down the path into the actual warehouse where the exit gate is the only exit gate on warehouse, by the way. We need to fix that. Personally, we need that second exit. I don't know. To me, it just looks like Pizzeria got three exits, Forest got two exits, and Warehouse got one exit. If that is intentional for there to be different amount of exit points in every map, there's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to Warehouse, because if you look at the last video I made, where I talk about the killers, Springtrap is quite an issue on Warehouse in particular. However, not saying that has to change. I'm not saying it has to completely change. I'm just saying that with the one exit, there is opportunity for someone to get a guaranteed loss no matter what, just by circumstance. And honestly, I wouldn't want that. But back to Technician. I have gotten out of many tricky spots as Technician. I think I do have like an hour long video on the Technician update itself. And it is me alone, mostly or completely. I do remember I talked to myself a lot. So with that said, do I think Technician is bad? No, I actually think Technician is pretty damn good, especially for their first added class of the game's lifespan. I actually liked it. I got what they were trying to do. The idea came across pretty well. And aside from like a few hiccups in consistency, I think Technician's great. Now, now we just need to focus on the last but not least. And I think this is one I can actually just zone out and talk about for like a little while. At least a little while. But I'm going to immediately hit this with a green tick. And you're going to probably understand why once I explain. But as far as I'm concerned, Fighter was probably the best class of all time when it comes to any of these games at all. And honestly, you probably expected that. You're probably just like, oh wow, the fighting class is super good. Could have fooled me, but here's the thing, man. I actually liked how they did it. The way they did the fighter class was actually pretty good, in my personal opinion, because they had the parry and the strike all different, not even a joke. Different abilities. So one being the parry and one being the strike. I genuinely think that is the best idea ever that Bye Bye Night has ever conceived in their entire lives. Why? Well, it's quite simple. I just think they're really good interchangeably. Me personally, I go for my swing first because I'm not intending on stacking up my swings with a bigger debuff. It's kind of like security guard in that aspect. No one's really doing that because it's not usually that worth it. Genuinely, not usually that worth it. Because if you're just gonna focus on stacking up your stuns or your ability and whatnot, then it to me it just kind of feels like a time waste unless your killer is really trigger happy. in any case, you know? So, like, for security guards, the problem with pre-aiming is that you have to actually hit your shot, for one, and you have to bank on the fact that your random teammate or the person you're playing with who's being chased leads the killer over to you, and the killer isn't suspecting of anything. But I mainly used Fighter to save people, like when they were in a rough spot. That's pretty much it. I didn't go out of my way to exactly bully killers. I only did it to save people when they needed it. But more specifically, I think my adaptation to using Fighter came with how many mimics you'd had to verse at any given point. Because Fighter was pretty good at holding back a mimic, especially one that's very swing happy. Sorry, I'm very invested in my own drawing. Anyway, like I was saying, if your killer is swing happy, your fighter is gonna have a field day for sure. And if your killer is very tunnel heavy, your security guard is going to shine. But this isn't really about how the current fighter is. I'm more concerned about how the future fighter is going to be. But people who, you know, don't want to touch a Discord server in their entire lives, and honestly, I respect you for that. But Fighter's getting a rework, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do, because to me, the best part about it was being able to have a parry and a swing. Because, you know, I could just back and forth it. I don't need to focus on gaining stacks to do more stun. All I need to do is focus on my teammates being alive. But I think the thing is, some people probably think Fighter is like way too aggressive, and you can't exactly blame them. I do think there was some aggression involved, and a Fighter can kind of like, you know, keep a bitch on lock for a long time. And to some people who might be game developers, they probably wouldn't want that, you know? So yeah, they're gonna rework Fighter, and I'm very worried about it. Because if they change any of his abilities, it's probably gonna be a hard thing to get used to. Because I don't exactly know what they could add to keep their intentions for him, yet not breaking him or over nerfing. Over buffing and over nerfing is such a big thing. But they've managed to course correct at pretty much every single turn. For example, Mimic's drill hitbox. It used to be way too high, and then they made it way too low, and then they kind of went in the middle. Kind of, because it's like 13 or something. What a weird number. But it works. So my disbelief doesn't come from their ability to do updates. My lack of disbelief comes from how the community is going to take it. Because if the devs go all in on listening to the community, things might go real wrong real fast. Why? Because personally, if I was making a video game, I wouldn't let a community who just got their hands on it know more than I do when it comes to what changes to make on it. Sure, the people who play your game have a right to give suggestions. However, if you made it, you probably have a way better idea of what you're doing in comparison to them. Because you're the one that's making it. It's your job to put your ideas to life and make it make sense. So, did they succeed in making every survivor feel like they're intended for teamwork based gameplay? Kind of. There are a couple people, such as Customer and Fighter, that I think would be set out to the side when it comes to working as a team, because most of the people I say playing, most of the people I see playing any of those survivors, they are pretty self-preservative, which is boring. Yeah, I'm saying it again, it's boring. But it's not it's not just the self-preservation part that sets them. It's just the general way that people like to use things that they like to better benefit themselves. You know, let's say this is gonna be such a far reach, and I am so sorry. But think about it like Call of Duty, where they release a super good weapon that has high rate of fire, good DPS, wonderful like reload time, and if you put just the right attachments on it, you can turn it into a shredding machine. And if everybody starts doing that to do that exact thing because they want to be as powerful as possible to give themselves the win as easiest as possible, if everybody's doing that, it's going to be pretty boring. But if everybody's working as a team and there's only one person doing that, it's still kind of disheartening and it's still kind of boring because you can clearly tell that all these people want is the win. And I put that in quotation marks, the win. I do not see a difference between my wins and my losses because there's no real big impact. There is no benefit to when you win a game or lose a game. What happens is that you either go out the exit or you die. And that's it. Sure, the killer gets more scrap for more kills. But if you make that your driving motivation, you're going to lose sight of what's really important. And this applies to the survivor side as well. Immersion is everything. Because, like it or not, experienced players with the fighter class or new players with the customer class, if you aren't playing for the team, you're not doing anything. And as killer, if you're not changing targets, splitting people apart, like you gotta make these people split apart, and then ever so slowly you gotta get rid of them one by one by one, but not in a way that's tunneling. You need to bounce yourself around this enclosed map. You need to catch some people off guard. You need to set up a few little funny pranks to catch the people who aren't paying attention closely. You need to be the danger as the killer. You need to be the scary. You need to be the danger. You need to be the threat that's ominously lurking in the dark and yet remains unmoving. As a survivor, you need your allies. You and your allies are going to be huddled up in a dark room, back to back, watching every angle possible. And as soon as that ominous shadow in the dark makes a move, someone's gonna strike back, someone's gonna delay their advance. Someone's gonna focus on like who's low and who's not, and someone's gotta be running out there, waving out their hands to take a hit. everybody has something to do. It's not just about grinding the generators. It's not just about racking up the kills. All these survivors right here, they do have a role. It's not very noticeable sometimes, but they do have a role. And it probably isn't my place to just tell people that, because I don't know. It's probably beyond me at this point. I'm just really happy and joyous that a game like this even exists after all this time. Because FNAF is quite literally one of the games of all time. And I know what I said, these people are not Scott Cawthon, they're just making a funny, asymmetrical FNAF game that captures a feel, that captures an actual feeling. Because, yes, send a bunch of people out into the forest with the job of doing technician work for Fazbear Inc. and get jumped by the mimic. That's funny as hell. There's I already feel a mess just thinking about it. And maybe I'm not the best type of person to claim that I am a mess and that I'm in it for the love of the game, considering all I do is wear silly avatars 24/7. As you can see, I don't know if you guys even remember this one, but if you remember this avatar, you are peak entertainment. No, I'm just kidding. You know what this avatar is. I just need to add the glasses, and it's pretty much there. I do silly things pretty much all the time, but I love a good story, and I love a good bit of immersion when it comes for it. So really, I don't know what all the hate is about. People will find any excuse to hate on small aspects of video games. People shit on Technician so much, and I did not see the appeal of it. Like, sure, there was things, I guess, but I don't think they deserved all of that just for a simple thing. Honestly, there's a lot of things developers don't deserve when all they've been doing is their best. Because, some motherfuckers be like, man, maintenance should not be taking this long. How the fuck do you know that? I don't think you know that at all. I will say there are some people out there that is just like, oh, would you rather play a buggy game or a game that's completely perfect and carefree and all that and this, and it's just let's face the fact there's always gonna be something to fix. Now, I actually have no idea what could be causing this long of a maintenance. I have zero fucking clue, and honestly, it is absurd. It's absurd. But I have seen games go down for a long while and come back. You guys waited how long for this game to even release? I don't know how long you people are waiting. It was definitely of the months variety, at most a year. You can survive a month or two of maintenance, fellas. Like, genuinely. If you can wait this long, you can wait a little bit more. The FNAF community, out of all communities I've ever been in, the one thing they love to fucking do is wait. They love waiting. I love waiting. Waiting for what? Who knows? But that's the best part. Like, with the fucking the only hint we have of the next FNAF game is that it's a 2, not a 3. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. It could be anything. We don't know yet. We're still waiting. I don't see. I don't see FNAF theorists throwing shit at the wall. Actually, insane. Some of you people are probably just deranged. I'm deranged. I'm quite deranged. But this isn't a jab. I think the people in the Bite by Night Discord are just as passionate as I am. Even if they like to showcase it by saying profoundish things like, oh, Bite by Night maintenance ends 2030. Oh, guys, oh, man, oh, this and that, yada yada. You're probably just as passionate as I am. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm, I've, look, I'm at that point. All my friends are kind of just like, man, I need Bite by Night back. And I'm all like, man, I need Bite by Night back. But I'm not gonna harass anyone for it. In fact, I check the Discord server at least once a week. And I probably speak in general at least once every 2 weeks. It's, nothing's really changed. And well, we're nearing a month, like I said, right? I'm gonna presume by at least the month anniversary of the maintenance, something should be happening. The devs might realize, oh, a month has passed. Let's let's put out a statement and share some goodwill amongst the world. That would be nice. I'm not gonna say they're gonna do that, but it would be nice. I know they said they're gonna be transparent, and honestly, I don't know how it gets any more transparent than this. They're so transparent. They haven't said anything. Physically invisible. They are that transparent. Let them cook. This game is beautiful. It was well crafted. It was like, oh, it's like a sculpture. It's like this game has been like a sculpture that I've been looking at, that I've been staring at and gleaming at. And also, I couldn't think of anything more. Man, does that show? Oh, it does. Guys, you didn't see that. But genuinely, this is it. This is it. We are reaching a month. I love all these killers. I love all these survivors. Everything about this game I truly, deeply love and care about. I care about it so much, I'd probably wait forever. There are times to be outraged, and there are times to be trusting. I would honestly redirect all your rage to people who deserve it. Like certain staff members on certain games on their Discord server. Look, guys, if you are friends with an admin of a Discord server at any point, especially if it's an admin of a Discord server of a Roblox game, don't take advantage of the perms people have to get other people banned with minimal to no proof. It is legitimately scummy. It's I'm not saying I'm not saying from experience or anything. That's ridiculous. I would never, but it is a bit scummy when you use someone's perms or just because you're buddy friends and pals with them to get other people banned. One, that's not your job, and two, you're kind of a cunt. Just just me things, I guess. I don't know. I just love rambling into a microphone. I love drawing. I love making music. I love doing all of that. In fact, you guys want to? I use Soundtrap now. You guys want to look at that? You want to look at Soundtrap? Let's actually get a glance of a bunch of things that you guys have missed from me. Really, you've missed a lot from me, truly. I didn't want to say anything, but I deleted FL Studio. I don't actually like FL Studio. Let's be real, no one likes FL Studio. But I do have Soundtrap, and oh, that's my name, guys. Don't look at my name. Anyway, isn't that pretty cool? This is a remake of an old track. If you know, you know. None of you probably know though, and I doubt you ever will. I like it so far. If I'm being for real, Soundtrap is actually pretty damn cool. I ain't even lying right now. That's all you get. You guys don't get everything. You don't deserve everything. None of you deserve everything. Anyway, I'm gonna swap the display now. We're gonna go through a couple more things, actually. There's one thing you I don't know how many people who would be watching this would have even seen any form of my community post, quote unquote. More like fucking more like the isolation post. Let's call it that from now on. I feel isolated. Let's see, look, that's who I was drawing, guys. That's who I drew. Oh wait, you can't see. Do I show it? Do I? Whatever. I'll show it. You guys are cool, right? You won't make fun of me or tell anybody. See, look, this is who I was drawing right here. This little goofy goober. See, look. And yes, yes, they have names, but only the ones that I have updated. If they don't have a name, they're not updated yet. Minus Bingo Space, okay? Bingo Space doesn't count. But speaking of my isolation posts where I talk to myself via typing and then send images which nobody cares about. I make a purple guy. I make a purple guy, yes? I am using this avatar on the Bite by Night comeback. And I will also probably upload a 5-second video with the title like "This is not a drill," and then I just go, "Bye bye, nice back, guys! Look, look!" And then I point at the screen when it actually just shows. It will show "Bye bye night reopen." You know, I will do that. Nobody watches them, but I'll do that. I'm just gotta let people know. Gotta let the people know. If I don't feel real enough to you, then who am I? Am I AI? Ah, I hope I'm not. Guys, am I AI? I wouldn't want to be AI. Please don't turn me into marketable AI. Oh man. Anyway, say hi to Waverly A's. I mean William Afton. I mean Waverly A's. Purple guy. Purple guy. You guys didn't see that. Anyway, let's rank the survivors. In my personal opinion, we are going to rank the survivors that were in Bite by Night before its maintenance. Number 1, security guard. Number 2, fighter. Number 3, technician. Actually, no. Number 4, customer. Number 5, medic. I like playing medic the least. It offers the least amount of a fun gameplay that I can use using my abilities. Because with fighter, there's this tech where you can. You know the stumbling animation in Bite by Night? You guys know the stumbling animation, you know. Basically, how that works is that if you press a movement key and you're still holding shift or your sprint button, you stumble. And there was this thing where you could just spam W while doing that, and you would go further using less stamina, and then someone further advanced that into something called the wobble walk or the waddle. I don't know, wobble walk, waddle walk. I'm Australian, I can't pronounce, but that got fixed more or less. But the stumble animation can still be used. If you stumble forward as a fighter and hit your parry at the same time, you will glide across the ground in glide across the ground in your parry animation, which can get you a parry and a save. I think I might have done it in one of my videos. Again, I'm not too certain. I do rewatch them, but I can't recount everything. But even then, there is a lot you can do. Medic just offers the least amount of stuff you can do because it's just heal and heal yourself. The best thing you could have done was heal yourself and go through a wall to hide yourself, but that was only for the self healing animation because it would put you back into the map. Your position was there, it's just your avatar was not matched with the position that you're standing at. So your avatar can just go through the wall. But that doesn't mean you're actually through the wall. That was like the only tech I can recall for medics. And as far as I'm concerned, Technician doesn't really have a guaranteed tech. Like with Fighter with the parry animation, Security Guard with the cancel taser, you know, fake out, Customer with the walking a little bit faster when using your abilities crouch. Technician doesn't really have anything like that, but it's okay because the Vanny mask honestly gives you a lot to go with, regardless. It can make or break. Any of these things could make or break a game. All it takes is one person using one specific class to do one specific thing that completely counteracts you, and that ruins everything. But it's okay, because that's what these things are about. If you ain't learning, what are you doing? But let's just be honest. Security Guard is peak. Security Guard is undeniably peak. I'm not going to say underrated, but I am going to say peak because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people did kind of use him wrong. That's what people were saying. Like, lots of people use Security Guard wrong. I'm inclined to agree. Anyway, we've just hit 52 minutes, so I think this might be just a tad bit longer than the killer video. But that should probably about do it. I I think I pretty much got everything I wanted to say out with as little delusional pauses as possible. Probably. I will admit, there's a lot of pauses with me. There are gears just constantly turning in my brain. So you guys have to actively witness me using my brain on the spot every single time. And I hope that's appeasing to you. But just like that, I think I got everything I wanted to say. So I hope with the last one being killers and this time being survivors and the 1 month of maintenance coming, 1 month anniversary of maintenance, surely this could provide just a bit of insight for people who did play Fight by Night and just wanted to watch someone go over shit and then either sit there nodding your head going, yes, yes, no, I remember that, I agree, that's very useful. Or you just want to insult me like, no, no, that's not what it was used for, you fucking idiot. Who do you think you are? People are inclined to have their own personal views. This is just mine. But on the other hand, if there are people that never played Bite by Night, and for some reason they're just browsing videos on the internet with the name Bite by Night and everything, just to get an idea, then this is the worst place to be. I'm so sorry. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'll just leave now. I'm so sorry, and I hope I didn't insult you. I'm so sorry. I'm so